I think there will be a Chaos Theory DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2, is what many people say. I disagree. In a previous video, I gave 5 reasons why I think the Park Manager's Collection Pack was the last DLC for the game, and one of the most common reactions was that people are still expecting a Chaos Theory DLC. In fact, they were convinced that it will happen. I won't go over the same 5 reasons as before. I have new and specific reasons why I don't think a Chaos Theory DLC is coming, including what I think is the nail in the coffin for the game. That's not to say I know for sure 100%, but watch this video and decide for yourself if you still think such a DLC is likely, or any DLC. Since the previous video, Frontier had their monthly Unlocked stream. During this stream, they tease news down the line for their new upcoming Jurassic World CMS game, either Jurassic World Evolution 3 or a spiritual successor under a different name.
Some of the eagle-eyed of you may have noticed that we're very happy to announce that we'll be working with our friends at Universal again. And for all of our Jurassic fans, we will have some more news for you a little bit later on down the road.
If this is your first time hearing about this, check out the video I did about that news and consider subscribing so you never miss any news related to this game. During their stream, Frontier did not tease any future content for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This is a notable difference to the Unlocked stream right after the launch of Planet Zoo's Barnyard DLC, when Frontier did something unprecedented. They announced there would be another species pack for Planet Zoo in the future. This announcement seemed to ring in a different and more transparent way for Frontier to communicate about the life cycle of their games. Them not making a similar announcement about Jurassic World Evolution 2 possibly means that there is nothing to say about the future because there is no future for this game, allegedly. But let's assume they made the Planet Zoo announcement because it's their own IP and they don't have the same freedom with Universal's Jurassic franchise. Well then let's look at what a Chaos Theory DLC could entail and whether that content makes it a likely candidate to become reality or not. I've seen Chaos Theory in full, as I think most of you have as well. The series wasn't out yet at the time I made my previous video, so maybe the people expecting a Chaos Theory DLC were also expecting the show to have more new content than it does. Chaos Theory introduces only one new species, the Beckel Spinax. Then there are the 2 variants, dinosaurs whose on-screen look does not match their in-game design and thus would warrant a new variant, like the Camp Cretaceous Ouranosaurus and the Dominion Giga. The first variant is the Suchomimus, which clearly looks different from its in-game counterpart, and this would be a reasonable addition to the game. But it's the second variant that comes with issues, the Pachyrhinosaurus. Unfortunately, the in-game Pachyrhinosaurus is a deluxe edition animal. It is a DLC creature, so it's not part of the base game. Adding a variant for it gets complicated. There is a precedent for Frontier not stacking DLC content. The Scorpius Rex from the Camp Cretaceous pack did not get a new luck skin in the Secret Species pack. I think it's fair to conclude that if a dinosaur from one DLC doesn't get a new skin in a later DLC, a DLC dinosaur from another DLC also doesn't get a new variant in a later DLC, although it's technically not impossible. So in terms of animals, the Chaos Theory pack could only add one new species and either 1 or 2 variants, depending on how they want to finagle the Pachyrhinosaurus into it. That falls far short of any other species pack Frontier has released before, even less than the Camp Cretaceous DLC, which had only 2 new species and some skins and variants. Avid fans of the show will probably argue, what about the Allosaurus variant with the blind eye? The Therizinosaurus from Dominion had a blind eye as well, and this was not translated into a separate variant or even included in the movie-accurate skin in-game. Adding an entire new variant just to white out one eye is preposterous and genuinely not something you can expect to have any value in a paid content pack. I also don't see much in terms of additional non-animal content to include in a Chaos Theory DLC and call it an expansion. Maybe a DFW truck? But to what purpose? The game isn't set up to transport dinosaurs that way. And any gameplay mechanics inspired by the show would, in my opinion, very closely resemble the existing dinosaur exchange and black market mechanic that we got in the Malta DLC. I think there's nothing unique nor substantial in the show that translates into the game, in terms of content that we have to pay for. But let me know in a comment down below if you disagree and what you think a Chaos Theory pack could include to make it worthwhile for Frontier to make, and for us to buy. It should be addressed that a low amount of content doesn't mean Frontier can't still turn it into a pack. A single new species and 1 or 2 variants could be turned into a cheap little species pack. Just because they haven't done that before doesn't mean they can't. The Camp Cretaceous DLC was very unique in the amount of content as well. But if they were to add a Chaos Theory DLC, to add the Beckel Spinax and the Suchomimus and perhaps the Pachyrhinosaurus, where does it end? Because it's not as straightforward as just adding 1 more species pack to Jurassic World Evolution 2 in June/July to finish the roster. Chaos Theory's 2nd season is already confirmed to come this year, sometime in autumn. Considering the show's massive success, I would be shocked if there weren't more seasons coming next year as well. Does Jurassic World Evolution 2 need to keep adding whatever new things Chaos Theory might bring to the franchise for however many years that show might run? Holding the game to a commitment to adding Chaos Theory content stretches support for the game closer and closer to the next game, Jurassic World Evolution 3 or whatever it will be called, at which point Frontier would be in direct competition with themselves. Frontier would need to spread their manpower between the 2 games, and customers would have to spread their money between the 2 games, which, let's be honest, most people wouldn't do, probably couldn't even afford to do. If you still think it could happen, allow me to share what I consider the nail in the coffin for a Chaos Theory DLC and for the game overall. For its entire life cycle, we have been keeping an eye on the SteamDB page for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This database keeps track of all of the behind-the-scenes activity on the game. Whenever Frontier works on the game, we see signs of that in the database. Updates occur multiple times a day, almost every single day, since the game launched in November 2021 until now. Looking at the update history for the game, the last change list log is dated May 29th. 14 days ago at the time of recording this video. The last update to the dev release branch is from 22 days ago. To put that in perspective, I looked through over a year of SteamDB updates for Jurassic World Evolution 2, and the longest time between updates outside of the holidays where nothing was happening to the game was a 5-day gap in February. Just 5 days. In 13 months, the game has been showing signs of updates pretty much every single day, with some gaps of a day, 2 days, 3 days, at most 5 days until now. If an update appears on SteamDB after this video is up, it doesn't change the point. The point being that there is significantly less activity happening behind the scenes for this game, which is a likely indication that there is no new content being worked on, perhaps just a couple of polishes and bug fixes. I think this shows that the game is done, and that the future we need to be looking forward to is the new game coming out between June 2025 and May 2026. I think that's why Frontier referenced that new game in their previous livestream. Kind of doing the same thing as what they did for Planet Zoo, but rather than getting us excited for another DLC, they want us to get excited for a much bigger thing coming our way. And I think that in that next iteration of the game, we will be seeing Chaos Theory content, either in the base roster or as a DLC added down the line once the show is finished. For more information on that new Jurassic World CMS game, check out this video linked right here, but let's not forget that we can still enjoy this game that we have right now. So if you're looking for inspiration, ideas and tricks, you can find all of that on the channel and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.